Welcome back to the final episode of Channel 8 Update for the semester. I'm Joe Drake.
I'm Danielle Lorenzo.
And I'm Jess Labella.
In January of this year, an expectant father started the website NameMyDaughter.com, where anyone on the internet could suggest and vote on potential names for the forthcoming baby girl. According to Betta Beat, the little girl was born on April 7th with the name Amelia Savannah Joy McLaughlin. The father explains his inspiration for the project, stating, quote, "I was sitting on the end of the bed after work, coming home from work, and the idea just hit me. I tend to be a very forward person, and I just blurted out, honey, I'm going to ask the internet what we should name our daughter." Unfortunately, Amelia Savannah Joy didn't technically win the vote, and the first official place name was Chathulu Allspark. The parents were just that one of the second place name, Amelia.
There's no middle ground there. It was just between Cthulhu Allspark and Amelia. I don't know. To help celebrate the opening of a new 92,000 square foot science center, SUNY Fredonia will welcome world-renowned scientist, engineer, comedian, author, and inventor Bill Nye, the Science Guy, to campus this fall. He will appear Thursday, September 18th at 3:30 p.m. in King Concert Hall as the keynote speaker for the campus's annual Convocation Series. We are extremely excited to bring someone of Bill Nye's stature to campus to help usher in such an exciting new era on this campus, said Fredonia Public Relations Director Mike Barone. We continue to broaden and diversify Fredonia's strengths and redefine the way people think about this university. His appearance will underscore that evolution and mark a terrific opportunity for our students to learn and be inspired, end quote. Bill Nye has become somewhat of a science hero for many college-age students currently for making science more interesting for us in school, and it should be a great honor to have him here on campus to speak. You know, as a kid, I grew up with all the Bill Nye VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Like
Watched
they
them all in
were,
classes.
they were all.
Yeah.
I still have them, and I'm pretty sure they still work.
That was my favorite day when the teacher would bring in the TV and you knew Bill Nye was going to be on.
He
You
was
knew.
going to make it fun.
Yes.
Residence Life, FSA, and CLAS are sponsoring a massive therapy program tomorrow, April 29th at 7 p.m. in the McGinnis Hall lobby. It will be hosted by Bill Kumik from Fredonia Massage Therapy right here in Fredonia. If you're interested in the program, you need to be living on campus in a dorm. But other than that, all you have to do is show up. If you can't make it, don't worry. The campus will be putting on numerous stress relief events as we move closer to Dead Week and finals.
Looking forward to getting my massage on. Sounds really nice.
Yes, sounds fantastic. After a long and hard battle to keep the long-loved Fred Fest alive, students of the SUNY Fredonia campus will be able to experience the weekend in full swing, starting Friday. For a full list of the events and activities that are planned, please check out the Fredonia webpage and look at the event calendar. Starting Friday, May 2nd, an improv-a-thon is being hosted by Improv Society and Random Acts. The popular groups will be joined by other area college improv groups and even some professional groups from New York City. For anyone wishing to participate in the workshops that these groups are hosting on Saturday from 12 to 3 p.m. in McEwen 209, Friday night, all these groups will be combining to create an evening full of laughter starting at 7 p.m. in McEwen 209. Residence Life Judicial Affairs first-year programs, the Counseling Center, Sigma Kappa, and FSA are joining forces and are hosting a late-night breakfast in the Williams Center from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. If food is not incentive enough to be there, there will also be bingo and lots of games and prizes. Moving into Saturday, anyone interested in dodgeball should come to the Williams Center lawn between 2 and 6 p.m. if there is a rain check in Dodds Hall for the rain location. You do need to register for this event, and you can do so on the intramural webpage, and they are due by Thursday. Spectrum is hosting the main event from 2 to 6 p.m. in Dodds Grove. The annual event will include live bands, food from Dinosaur Barbecue, and others with games and prizes. You do need a ticket to get into the main event, so stop into the ticket office today and pick up yours. And for all the musically inclined, the Fred Fest Weapons and Jazz Combo will be playing outside Tim Hortons from 6 to 8, and we'll even let other students join the performance. Following up, after them will be a dance party hosted by SA President Antonio Regular and twin DJs, Derek and Clive Brown. They will be at the Tim Hortons patio until 10 p.m. The last event to be hosted outside Tim Hortons is by Campus Life. They are showing the movie Awkward Moments starring Zac Efron. In case of rain, the movie will be moved to the multi-purpose room in the Williams Center.
Now, I'm actually going to be involved in the Improvathon, and that will be going on from 7 to 11 p.m. on that Friday. So just a heads up for everyone out there that Random Acts will be performing in that. A 21-year-old Italian man was crushed to death by a crucifix last Thursday. The 1,300-pound statue was dedicated to Pope John Paul II, excuse me, and was meant to commemorate his visit to the Italian town of Sivo in 1998. The man, Marco Gismini, was crushed by the 100-foot crucifix, excuse me, while attending a ceremony. Oh man, excuse me, I'm sorry. Celebrating the canonization of Pope John Paul II and Pope John the 23rd.
In medical news, science and society may have a new perspective on what it means to be homeless. A new study found that nearly half of all homeless men suffered a brain injury prior to becoming homeless. St. Michael's Hospital did the study out of a Toronto homeless shelter. The doctor who led the study explained, "You have a concussion and you can't concentrate or focus. Their thinking abilities and personalities change. They can't manage at work and they may have lost their job and eventually lost their families, and then it's just a negative spiral." The study found that 60% of the injuries were the product of assaults. Another significant portion of, I have a cough, of the injuries was caused by injuries by accidents related to sports or motor vehicles. This study mirrors another recent one in the New York jail system. The study found that half of all the male participants between 16 and 18 suffered a traumatic brain injury shortly before being arrested. Dr. Wayne Gordon, a brain injury specialist, suggests that correctional officers should be trained in identifying and understanding these brain injuries. Inmates can often seem rude because of forgetfulness or personality changes, which might lead to punishment in the jail. Officers should also be trained to know the difference between misbehavior and behavior that's the product of actual brain damage. Hopefully this study will shed some more light on these men and get them the treatment they need.
After the break, we'll have all the international news, including an update on the crisis in Ukraine and some stories concerning the South Korean ferry. Stay tuned.
Every book is an adventure waiting to come to life. Visit new worlds. Encounter new friends. And discover the power of reading. Go to read.gov to read A Princess of Mars, the first novel to feature John Carter. A new world awaits. Read.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Hello and welcome back to Channel 8 Update. The world's eyes are on the eastern Ukrainian city of Slavyansk tonight. The Ukrainian government has sent a large military force to the region to fight the pro-Russian forces within. Inside the actual city, military inspectors from the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe have been taken prisoner. This has naturally caused concern from European leaders, including Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk. He and Putin have been engaged in a standoff for weeks now, with each side accusing the other of lying as Russia encroaches further and further into Ukraine. According to CNN, Denis Pushlin, a leader of the forces in favor of separating from Ukraine, thinks the military inspectors are spies for NATO. Foreign response has generally condemned the actions of Russia, and it supports America's Secretary of State John Kerry is trying to convince Russia to help bring about the prisoners' release. Additionally, a group of 7 countries called the G7, which include nations like Japan, America, and Germany, is warning Russia of political sanctions if no actions are taken to end the conflict.
Last week, a South Korean ferry went down in the middle of the Pacific. 150 died, while 152 are still missing. This week, South Korean authorities arrested 4 more crew members, bringing the total number of them in questioning to 11. These arrests have been made because of the public pressure to figure out what exactly caused the ferry to capsize. After all, most of them were teens. Several survivors have come forward with their stories. Most of them shared their tales of survival or heroism, rescuing others despite the threat of the ocean water. The South Korean president swore to figure out what went wrong and to find justice for the young victims.
Adding to the tragedy, some of the ferry victims' bodies were sent to the wrong families. Some of the heirs were not caught until the day of the funeral. The South Korean government sent its deepest apologies and plans to take action with new policies to rectify the situation. The bodies are currently being identified through a DNA testing, fingerprint matching, and dental records. Only when the victim is very clearly identified will they be sent back to their family. The recovery team has brought back 183 bodies so far, but they are still missing 119 of the 302 passengers on the ferry. 80% of them are students from high school, just south of Seoul, the capital of South Korea. The suspected reasoning behind the sinking of the ferry is the amount of cargo on board and the maneuvers made by the captain. If the ferry had less cargo and didn't take such sharp turns, the ferry should have never sank. Those 11 crew members we mentioned earlier, including the captain, were arrested for suspicion of negligence and abandoning people in need. Let's hope that this tragedy brings more awareness to the seas and prevents accidents like this in the future.
We all know Mount Everest as one of the greatest hiking adventures in the world, but recently things have been looking down for mountain climbing enthusiasts. A recent ice avalanche has made it almost certain that no one will be able to travel up or down Everest this upcoming year. Last week, 16 mountain guides were killed trying to crack the ice and fix ropes on the upper side of the Khumbu icefall. This recent disaster has opened our eyes to the dangers mountain guides subject themselves to, so that climbers can experience the wonders of this 29,035-foot Himalayan mountain. Due to the dangerous conditions, there has been a mass exodus from the mountain, with teams submitting to the idea that it's just over. There are still 40 to 50 climbers hopeful that they can make the trip. That is a huge difference from the original 600 that were hoping to make the climb. Experts say that without the large number of people making the trip, there won't be enough people to dig and put the route back in. As more time goes on, the worse it looks for those hoping to climb the tallest mountain on Earth.
And a little more national tonight. Cliven Bundy, a Nevada rancher who rose to fame after coming into conflict with the federal government over taxes on public cattle grazing, made headlines again this past Thursday. At a press conference, he wondered aloud if African Americans would have been better off as slaves. Wow. During the press conference, Bundy stated, quote, "And I've often wondered, are they better off as slaves, picking cotton and having a family life and doing things, or are they better off under government subsidy? They didn't get no more freedom, they got less freedom." Wow, end quote. Many of Bundy's supporters have denounced his claims, calling them racist and highly offensive. His critics were also quick to call him a hypocrite, saying that he himself was on government subsidy for allowing his cattle to graze on public land without paying taxes. Bundy claims that his words were misinterpreted and that he is tired, but that he is not tired of talking about race. Let's hope that's not true.
Many gathered in the St. Peter's Square as 2 former popes were the first time declared as saints in the dual canonization. Pope John the 23rd and Pope John Paul II were canonized by Pope Francis as saints this past Saturday in Rome. The unprecedented ceremony was attended by over 800,000 people and 2 living popes. Relics for the new saints include a vial of John Paul II's blood and a piece of skin taken from John the 23rd's body after exhumation. In his homily, Pope Francis remarked that, quote, "They were priests, bishops, and popes of the 20th century. They lived through the tragic events of the century, but they were not overwhelmed by them. For them, God was more powerful. Faith was more powerful," end quote. Observers see that the canonization of both popes at the same time as an invitation for unity between the conservatives and the reformers within the church.
A bridge that was built in 1804 in France under the ruling of Napoleon is stressing under love. Since 2008, thousands of couples show their love for each other on Paris's Pont des Arts footbridge. The railings of this bridge are covered in locks. These locks are a symbol of love and are often inscribed with the couple's names and date. The key that is used to open the lock is then thrown into the Seine River. The original bridge was meant to be a suspended garden over the Seine, but was reconstructed to be made out of steel instead of cast iron. These love locks are weakening the structure of the bridge with its massive weight. While there are no fines currently in place for people who place a new lock on the bridge, the city of Paris is attempting to discourage the tradition. In its place, there is now the option to create an e-lock. Tourists are asked to look at the aesthetics of Paris and to keep the beauty of the city there for more generations to come.
This past Friday ended what was a week-long celebration of our home, planet Earth. Earth Week is celebrated every year by planting trees and cleaning up trash. SUNY Fredonia didn't stop there, though. This year's Earth Week started off with a teach-in at the College Lodge. The event included nature walks, drum circles, and more. The rest of the week saw lectures, a film festival, and a beach cleanup. In addition to all of these events, the Earth Week variety show gave students a chance to express their relationship with nature. There were poets, musicians, an eco-fashion show, and a short video produced by WNYF-TV. The video, Going Green, Getting Around Fredonia, explores travel alternatives to driving a car. If you weren't able to make the showing last week, don't worry. We're going to take a look at the PSA made by our very own TV station, WNYF-TV. Here's Going Green, Getting Around Fredonia.
Coming up next is the weather for the week with a look at FredFest weekend. And the latest on the Fredonia Blue Devils. We'll be right back.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're gonna be hanging out a little bit more.
For this week's weather, it seems that spring is finally here, with rain instead of snow in the forecast. Tonight has a high of 57 and a low of 47, with a chance of rain as the night moves on. And as we move into the night, if you're looking for the sunset, check outside right around 8 p.m. Tomorrow has a high chance of thunderstorms and strong winds. Wednesday is warming us up for the Fred Fest festivities with a high of 59. But be warned, as the rain that is starting tonight will continue well into Wednesday. On Thursday, the rain should turn into scattered showers, and the temperature should cool down to a high of 51 degrees. Wrapping up the academic weekend, Friday has a high of 49 and a low of 42, with a chance of rain. And for a quick glimpse into the weekend, temperatures should hover around 50 degrees with scattered showers.
It's definitely going to be a mild, temperature-wise week coming up. Now on to some sports. The Fredonia State women's lacrosse concluded its regular season Saturday with the Blue Devils lost 14-2 by the Cortland Red Dragons on Senior Day at University Stadium. Fredonia State will be hoping for a different result in the conference tournament next Friday. The Red Dragons will definitely be the team to beat, just as they have been in many other seasons. Cortland will be hosting the SUNYAC tournament next Friday and Saturday. They will be competing for their 16th straight SUNYAC championship. The Blue Devils, who are 11-5 overall, 5-3 in the SUNYAC, will be trying to reach their conference championship game. They will first need to get past Geneseo in the semifinal round. Game time is at 3 p.m.
The Fredonia State men's track team was successful at the Brockport Eagle Run this weekend. 4 men, Chris Chartrand, Colin Mulcahy, Ben Goebel, and Shin Chin, had great performances, winning individual events. Chartrand and McColney won running events, while Goebel and Chin were the top collegiate finishers in field events. Goebel equaled his personal best in the pole vault. He's number 7 on the Fredonia State all-time outdoor performance list with a clearance of 4.35 meters. Chin's hammer throw was an ECAC qualifying throw at 49.13 meters. The Blue Devils are about to face their championship portion of the outdoor season. They're heading to SUNY Geneseo for the SUNYAC meet this Friday and Saturday.
The women's softball team hasn't had much luck this season. Fredonia State's flickering playoff hopes were demolished on Saturday with 2 SUNYAC losses to the Oneonta Red Dragons. The Devils needed to win the doubleheader, but were officially eliminated when they lost the opener, 2-1. The second game didn't go their way and ended in an 8-2 loss. The Blue Devils have a 6-12 conference record and a 9-18 overall. They will face Alfred this week. The Red Dragons improved to 15-3 in the SUNYAC and nailed down the number 1 spot and the right to host the conference tournament starting on Thursday.
Now on to more national sports. Los Angeles Clippers owner Donald Sterling is facing allegations of racism after a leaked phone call was released allegedly between himself and a female friend. Current NBA players, former players, and organizations are calling on NBA Commissioner Adam Silver to act. The Clippers players displayed their attitudes toward the situation when they came out for the pregame. The team immediately discarded their warm-up jackets into a pile on the court. The Clippers wore their shooting shirts inside out during the warm-up. The team lost 118 to 97, and Sterling was not in attendance. There's no word on if he will be there for Game 5.
Meb Keflezighi became the first U.S. male in 31 years to win the Boston Marathon. Keflezighi had an 11-second victory over Kenya's Wilson Chebet. Keflezighi's running mates were moderating the pace until he broke away midway through. Their collaboration was arranged by Olympic teammate Ryan Hall. This tactic was started by East Africans who had been using it to dominate the world's most famous foot race for a quarter century. It's been a year since the race was ruined by terror and tragedy. Having a U.S. runner break the tape on Boylston Street was a joyful moment for many to watch.
This past week, Canadian filmmaker Andrew Nisker came to SUNY Fredonia as a keynote speaker for Earth Week. Andrew Nisker has had a notable career in documentary filmmaking and is more specifically known for his films on environmental issues. Along with being the founder of Take Action Films, Nisker has had quite the success stories with 2 feature-length documentaries, Garbage: The Revolution Starts at Home, and Chimerical: Refining the Clean for a New Generation. While Nisker was on campus, Channel 8 Update got an exclusive interview with the filmmaker in our studio. Let's take a look.
Hello, and we're here with Andrew Nisker to talk about his documentaries and filmmaking. So, my first question for you is very broad. What goes into making your documentaries?
Well, lots of preparation, a lot of research. It's not easy coming up with a subject that hasn't been covered before in a unique way. So that's the first thing that we always have to do, is we have to come up with an idea that will excite the funders that we go to, the broadcasters that we deal with, and also be of some relevancy to help environmental issues that we like to talk about.
So, what is the best decision that you've made to get you to where you are today?
Really, always living by the motto of DIY, meaning do it yourself. To wait for the green light, for the magic fairy to come in and say, you're funded, you can do it, isn't something that normally happens, especially when you're starting off. So I've always gone by the motto to do it yourself and to pursue and move forward and to continually develop ideas and talk about them and build alliances and networks around them so that eventually you have enough force behind you that's going to push the idea to a point where it's greenlit and you can get it made.
Okay, so going off of that, what advice would you give to very early filmmakers, like seniors that are going out of school, next month? What advice would you give to them?
Well, everyone has a camera on their cell phone. Well, mostly everybody. And my advice would be to use that camera and start telling stories. And it depends what you want to do. If you would like to do fiction, obviously you need to find a good pal who can write screenplays, or you write your own stories. If you're interested in documentaries, comb as much of the internet and newspapers, look at the magazine rack in the stores and see what's there, see what articles there are. And buried somewhere in there, there might be some ideas that inspire you. And sometimes the best and greatest ideas can come just from within your own circle, in your own home. And so my advice would be to find the idea and go out and practice. Practice, practice, practice. Take your camera, shoot as much as you can with your camera, and start editing together sequences, and start telling your stories. And post it on YouTube, and build a channel for yourself, and see if you can start getting some traction, get people interested in the work that you do. Because it's a marvelous opportunity today that you have to use technology for basically free to help showcase your talent. So persevere and do it yourself.
So I know you've worked in both the United States and Canada for TV and documentary. Are there any major differences between working in the U.S. and Canada?
Not that I've discovered. I mean, mostly what I've done, I find that it's similar value. People want to tell good stories, and people are really driven for the truth. And I find that that there really isn't much of a difference in that respect. We're a lot different as countries, obviously, but when it comes to working on film, working on television, I find that there isn't much of a difference.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the accent's a bit different. I'm really thrilled to be here, and thank you for having me on your show.
Oh,
And if you don't have a chance to come out and see my film tonight, Miracle, you can visit our website at takeactionfilms.com, and we have all of our films streamed on the site. And also on our website, chemicalnation.com, we have the film that's screening tonight, excuse me, Miracle, on that site to view. So please take a look.
Okay, all right, great, thank you. And this was Andrew Nisker, and I'm Cassandra DeLuise for Channel 8 Update.
Hello and welcome back to Channel 8 Update. This upcoming Wednesday, WNYF-TV will be having its first in-house awards show. This is a time to celebrate all of the success and hard work put forth by our members. The awards will be broadcasted live on Channel 8 and online at WNYF.TV starting at 7 p.m. If you are interested in attending the event, it will be held at the TV station in the basement of Hendricks Hall. Come at 6:30 for pre-show food and activities.
In other station news, this is the last week of live productions, so make sure to tune into all this week's season finales. Stick around after the show for a look at the schedule.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of Channel 8 Update. I'm Danielle Lorenzo.
I'm Joe Drake.
And I'm Jess LaBella.
Good luck in finals and have a great summer. We'll see you next semester.